Alright, ladies and gentlemen, version 4.0 as well as Plain Arcadia of course did just release recently, and along with them brought us two new NOVAFLARE characters, those being our two version 2.0 characters, Sparkle as well as BLACKSWAN. Now I previously didn't own Sparkle, but luckily thanks to the selector I am now a proud Sparkle owner. So for the first half we're going to be going for a Archer, Sparkle, Tribbie as well as Heng PT team, and then on the second half we're going to be going for the buffed BLACKSWAN, Hysilens, Kafka as well as Hyacine team, hoping for the best results here. Now one thing I will say is that I haven't even bothered fully reading through the NOVAFLARE buffs. All I know is that both units are pretty insane. Also, I basically haven't played Archer since its release because I didn't have a Sparkle, and I've also never used Sparkle, so do not expect the gameplay to be optimal. All characters here are E0S0, including Archer. He does not have his light cone, but full character builds will be at the end. With that being said, let's hop right into things. But real quick, if you want to play any characters in Plain Arcadia, then I have the perfect thing for you, and that's a sponsor, Lootball.gg. You can use Lootball to top up on your favorite games like Honkai Star Rail or Genshin Impact and save up to 30% off, along with great value offers like the all-in-one bundle, guaranteed limited and rerun character bundles, and the limited 6,480 generic shards pack that lasts for the first week of the brand new version. If I were to buy the 3,280 generic shards and get double with the top up bonus, all I have to do is enter in my UID, region, and go to top up now, and they typically arrive in less than a minute. Creators like DuckTV and Jello Impact are also collaborating with Lootboss, so they are trustworthy, and they also have thousands of positive reviews on Trustpilot. Also, new users can get 10% off, and returning users can get up to 8% off in the first week of the new version. So be sure to check out Lootbar with the link in the description. Back to the video. Alright, well then here we are on the first half with our Archer. Now I feel like I need to remind you that this is basically my first time playing Sparkle, because obviously I've never owned Sparkle. And then also the only times I used Archer was like when he released, and I had to use like really scuffed teams alongside Sunday, and I tried a bit of Hanya, but just none of that ended up working, so I ended up basically never using him. So yeah, honestly I don't know what the optimum first rotation is here. You guys feel free to teach me, but because we already have 8 skill points, I think I'm gonna spare ourselves using Sparkle's skill. Instead we're just gonna use the follow-up attack to go ahead and get up to 9 skill points here. Then we're also going to use that to activate Tribbie's ultimate so that we have all of our buffs up for our Archer. So we should be doing some solid damage here, 127k on the first hit, then into 178k, into 239,000. We're going to go ahead and pop the ultimate here, which will first of all deal 352,000, trigger the follow-up attack on Tribbie, which will give us another skill point, so now we have 4. So we can go ahead and end this off with 5 attacks. So there we go, that guy got nuked in basically a single turn, and we still have Sparkle's ultimate. I don't remember if activating Sparkle's ultimate gives us any buffs. Like I said, I haven't played Sparkle, and because I never played Sparkle, I also never bothered reading the NOVAFLARE stuff. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and pop the Sparkle ultimate here. Now we can go ahead and skill our Archer as well, and we should have a minimum of 4 attacks here, which it looks like we will. So 168 into 238k, into another 312,000. This is some very satisfying damage, into 342,000. That's lovely. Perfect. And we want 0 cycle here, but which is unfortunate, but fine. Maybe if we got a 5th attack off, we would have been able to 0 cycle. So bear that in mind. This clear could have probably been improved by at least 1 cycle. For example, maybe if we had a bit extra energy on our Archer, maybe if some of our characters were better built, stuff like that. But anyway, still happy with that. Now, I think I'm going to go ahead and go for Cocolia here first. Just because I know if we kill her, she's going to be summoning those pillars anyway. So I think I'll just get rid of her. First of all, our Archer has all of its buffs up, 102% to 102% crit rate, so 100% crit rate, and then over 300 crit damage as well. I just basic attack there because we already have all of our buffs up on Archer. So there's basically no point in us using Sparkle's skill or ultimate there. We hit 355k there on the ult. We use Tribbie ultimate here, which will go ahead and trigger a follow-up attack. And okay, I was expecting Tribbie's ult to trigger a follow-up attack as well. That didn't go exactly to plan. I thought we were going to be able to get off both of our Archer's things, but I think I messed up the ultimate rotation there slightly. So I feel like we should have gotten at least 1 more attack off. Did I activate Archer's ult before Tribbie's ult? Maybe I did. I don't remember entirely. Oh well, yeah, like I said, don't expect perfect play here. Like I said, I've barely used Archer and Sparkle, let alone the 2 of them combined. Oh wait, we got our final arrow anyway. Lovely, we hit another 319,000. That's perfect. and we will have our ultimate here available for our Sparkle as well. So go ahead and get some skill points back here, and we can skill our Archer again. And this will give us 3 more skills, which is nice. Once again, I'm not sure if this was the optimal play, but it seems like a good enough play, at least in my opinion. Which, you know, I'm not entirely sure if that's correct. Oh, okay, we've launched our follow-up attack here, which also means that we get to use our skill here. Perfect. So yeah, I think so far we've done pretty well. Although, like I said, you guys can let me know if I've misplayed everything. That is the one thing about Hun characters. Hun characters definitely require a lot more strategizing than other characters, which honestly I do appreciate. So, you know, that's what made someone like Bootil so fun for me. So, yeah, actually nice to have to use my brain again. Archer does not have the buffs from Sparkle's skill anymore. Although the problem is, even if we skill Archer, we won't have a lot of skill points, and I know Sparkle's basic attack now gives, I'm pretty sure, similar energy, if not the same energy, to if she skills. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop some basics here, and then also we need to refresh our Tribbie's skill anyway. So unfortunately this is a bit of a throwaway cycle, but oh well, what can we really do? Just go ahead and basic attack. Just gonna ult on our Heng, might as well go ahead and get some extra shields. It won't really help us out with much, but anyway, what we can do here, we can go ahead and skill on our Sparkle now, and go ahead and action forward our Archer, maybe into the current, not into the current cycle. Okay, that's unfortunate, but that is just a Sparkle moment. Oh, of course you had to delay our Archer's action. Oh, you've just wasted so much of my time. That wasn't good. Awkward, I suppose. I mean, I might as well skill here, because I mean, we got the SP back anyway, so might as well. But yeah, that's really unfortunate there. We're just gonna go ahead and finish Kakoli off. I technically don't need to, but I just will either way. I believe Tribbie should launch a follow-up attack, because I think this is our first time using Archer's ultimate. Yes, it is, and this means that Archer will now follow up, which means we go ahead and get 1 more skill off, which, nice, that's some solid damage onto Bronya. Would we have maybe cleared in the 27th cycle if our Archer hadn't gotten his action delayed? I'm not sure, but either way, this looks like 26 cycles. There is definitely a world in which we cleared in 3 cycles. For example, I think maybe if I didn't muck up the ult rotations, or for example, if although maybe that one didn't end up mattering, although certainly if we 0 cycled the first half, which we were basically 1 skill away from doing. So yeah, I'd say there definitely is a world in which we could have gotten 3 cycles here and cleared in the 27th, but hey, I'll take 4 cycles, clearing in the 26th still, for a team where you can get Sparkle for free, Archer for free, Heng PT for free, and they're all E0S0, and then just throw it in with the most universal support in the game, who everyone should own anyway, then I'm still very happy with this team's free-to-play performance. So yeah, no complaints here for me. Just go ahead and use our Sparkle ultimate, and then unleash all of our attacks on our Archer. This should kill. Oh, never mind. She would have been left on 1% if we didn't have those extra skill points, but luckily we do. Actually, we would have gotten our ult anyway. So there you go. A relatively convincing 4 cycle. Definitely could have been a 3, but hey, I'm happy with that. And yeah, like I said, for basically a full free-to-play team, we'll definitely take that. But anyway, it's on to the dot half now. Now, normally, of course, I would be using Heng PT for the dot team, because he'll give our BLACKSWAN that little extra attack buff. But might as well just go ahead and use our Hyacine, since the sustain between Hyacine as well as Hysilens' reducing the enemy's attack actually makes this one of the most comfortable teams in the entire game. Just gonna go ahead and basic attack here on our Hyacine. Yeah, but basically because of how comfortable Hysilens makes this entire team, we can just go ahead and normal attack. I mean, it will get a bit dicey at the beginning before we have our Hysilens ultimate, Hyacine ultimate activated, which could I have skilled? Yes, but just in the interest of SP economy, I decided I might as well not. But yeah, BLACKSWAN is obviously a character who I used to know very well how to use, I will be honest. I read all of her NOVAFLARE buffs, and then I forgot everything. I know a lot of her stuff is tied to her own turns now instead of the enemy's turns, which is why we can basically run her base speed, because we don't need to always refresh our defense stuff, and as well as the ultimate. So to my understanding, I'm not sure if we need to skill on her as much. I'm not sure what the skill rotation is. I'm not 100% sure whose skills I should be prioritizing here, whether it's BLACKSWAN, whether it's Hysilens. Kafka, obviously we always need to skill on. Hyacine we want to skill on as little as possible, although sometimes might be necessary. But yeah, like I said, BLACKSWAN is in the first slot here. We would normally have Heng PT to give her the attack buff as well as the Lushaka set, but in this team only Kafka is running Lushaka, so our BLACKSWAN isn't getting as much attack as she used to, or as she normally would, because obviously, like I said, we have to use Heng for the first half, but either way, that should not be a problem now. It looks like we won't be able to zero cycle here, but yeah, let me know what the go-to dot rotations are. Do I skill on everyone in the first turn and then only basic attack from BLACKSWAN from there? I'm not 100% sure. I do know that the Arcana stacking works differently now, which is very nice. I believe Dot just got a massive quality of life. Now this team will probably end up doing worse than the Archer team purely because this half doesn't favor Dot as much as the first half Dot favors Archer, just because, well, I mean, the first half of the second chamber does actually favor Dot quite a bit, but this boss specifically is not the best for Dot, but hey, we'll manage to find a way to brute force it. Like I mentioned, we did try using Dot here originally before I realized that Finon was just a better option, even if Finon isn't ideal for this boss. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna go, oh wait, I picked Kafka. Maybe I should have picked BLACKSWAN here. Although, actually, maybe them attacking Kafka and giving her a lot of energy, allowing us to get more ult up is more important. I'm not sure. Anyway, just going to go ahead and pop our ultimate here, just because we don't want to waste any follow-ups. So we're just going to go ahead and skill here on our Hysilens, and then we can ult as well for some pretty solid damage here from her. Let's see, yep, 830k, we'll definitely go ahead and take that. 200k from the dot detonation there, that's very, very nice. BLACKSWAN, well, let's just go ahead and use your skill because we want to get her ultimate up, and then she also has a decent... we also have quite a few skill points, so we can afford to use a few BLACKSWAN skills. 64k on the ult. I do wish that's one thing they buffed a bit. I wish they buffed her ultimate damage a bit, because it's such a cool looking ult and it does so much. I just wish it had a bit more front loaded damage. You know, it would have been cool to have seen like 100k or something. But oh well, what can we do? 430k there on the skill, and then 1.1 million on the Kafka ultimate. She is an absolute beast nowadays. Yeah, the Dot team very much worth investing in if you have some of the older units. I will say it is strange that they didn't give BLACKSWAN in the selector. So it's it kind of feels like they're assuming you already have BLACKSWAN or Hysilens, and then they're allowing you to pick up Kafka. Which, to be fair, Kafka is the most important character, I'd say, in Dot, and then you can pick either Hysilens or BLACKSWAN. Although I think I actually don't know who's the most I know Kafka's the most valuable, but I don't know what's the most valuable after that. Although I know if you do have the triple Dot team, that Hysilens' E1 as well as BLACKSWAN's E1 is more valuable than Kafka's E1, which is why I ended up picking Sparkle from the selector, because hey, I don't have her and I want to go ahead. I'm sure she's going to be good for units like Sparksy, stuff like that, and of course we are going to be putting Sparksy on this account. This is why we don't have Yaoguang on this account, but we do on the alt account. But then after we get our Sparksy, if we have quite a few pulls left over, which we currently have 230 pulls saved, so you know, as long as we win the 50-50 on Sparkle, we can probably pick ourselves up a Sparksy. Although I do also want to invest, although we do also want to get Ashvale. He is one of my favorite looking characters of this version. Blade as well, of course, I need to pull. I'm saving up all my Star Glitter just for Bladey. And then Evanesia, I believe was her name. I've only done like the first hour of the quest, if any of you guys are wondering, by the way. I'm working my way through it a bit slowly currently, but yeah. Okay, we're actually doing some decent damage to the Swarm Nightmare so far. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and test out using the thing on BLACKSWAN instead of Kafka now. I think, obviously Hysilens used to be the team's main damage dealer, but now it is BLACKSWAN after all of the buffs. But yeah, honestly I completely lost track of what I was saying. Oh yeah, the Yaimiko XP as well as Blade SP as well as Ashvale we definitely need to pick up. So whether we'll get the Yaoguang, I'm not 100% sure. Obviously it is the meta thing to do. Although with Star Rail's power creep, design creep, you know, the stuff like I enjoy the elation mechanics, although I don't like the fact that I feel you're so aggressively forced to pull for it. So I'm kind of less interested in playing for meta nowadays in Star Rail. I feel like the HP inflation, HP inflation is always inevitable in the 0.7 cycle, and then it just makes the previous regions like characters just feel really bad. Like by the time 4.7 rolls around, all the elation characters will feel like strong to mid instead of feeling absolutely game breaking like they probably will do when they and their premium teams release. So yeah, I don't care as much about pulling meta anyway. I still do clear Star Rail endgame. It's not a Genshin endgame where nowadays I barely bother clearing Genshin endgame, although I've gotten a bit better at that in recent times because I've been enjoying Genshin a bit more after the recent quests and stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna... In the past, I would have made sure not to miss out on the character's best and slot support, but now I just want to have more fun pulling for the units that I absolutely like. The main reason why I'm pulling Sparksy, honestly, is just because I want the Elation stuff to make content on, as well as the fact that I don't have a fire DPS, so, you know, might as well pick one up, because literally on this account I don't have a single fire DPS. Whenever I see the fire element, I'm like, wow, I am screwed, you know. Physical, fine on. Wind, okay, I would say I don't have an X on this count. Okay, I don't really have much for wind, but Quantum, Archer, and Casteress, we're chilling on that front. Unfortunately, we don't get 4 cycle here. It's looking like a 5 cycle. Unfortunately, I feel like maybe we could get a 4 cycle here. Although to be fair, we're gonna clear either way, so maybe it's not necessary. 9% HP. That's unfortunate. You know what? We have BLACKSWAN's ultimate here. 1% HP. We're gonna turn off the 2x speed. Go ahead and slow-mo this BLACKSWAN ultimate. The question is, will it kill doing like 50k damage? The answer is, let's see. Okay, never mind. It did 22k damage and did not kill. All we were missing was 7k damage. Yeah, there we go. Happy with both teams' performances. The buffs do feel very good for both BLACKSWAN as well as Sparkle. So I'm actually very happy that they buffed these two. It would be nice to see what other units they buff in the future as well. Blade NOVAFLARE too, although JK, they're giving him a new form, so that's definitely not gonna happen. But yeah, the Archer's team, very free-to-play friendly. I used to be really down on Archer because, like I said, I didn't like the fact that Sparkle was so niche and such an audience that she wasn't worth pulling anymore, but Archer really relied on her. Nowadays, not only is Sparkle even better, you can also get her for free, and then Heng PT also free since Archer's release, and then Archer himself was of course free. So yeah, and then some of you maybe picked up his S1 as well from pulling in the version 3.4 banners. So yeah, actually very happy with the Archer team now. It has gone from one of my least favorite to one of my favorite probably. I just need to make sure I get all the intricacies down of the team, so I need to play it more often. And then the Dot team, Dot was always fun to play since Hysilens' release, and now it just feels even better to play with BLACKSWAN's buffs. Once again, I'll need to familiarize myself a bit more with BLACKSWAN's buffs to make sure that I am playing it optimally. But anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the character builds as well as Archer. Well then, we managed to clear both sides of the Memory of Chaos. We definitely could have been quicker in both of our clears. I feel like 3 cycles was definitely achievable for Archer, and then 4 cycles was definitely reachable for the Dot team as well. But hey, a bit more familiarity with the teams and definitely achievable. Also, if you have any better investment than me, then you definitely can. Like I said, these full teams are E0S0, but when it comes to the full character build, starting off with our Archer team, all our quantum units are here, which is very nice. We have 105 speed, so base speed on Archer, 2.7k attack, 102% crit rate at base, 131 crit damage, which becomes about 391 in battle. Lightcon, we do have the S5 of the Hertastall Lightcon. Traces are basically fully maxed out, and then we do have crit damage here because we're already overcapped, a nice 22.6%. Double crit here, crit rate with some crit damage, attack, double crit boots. By the way, I do have a quantum set that I will sometimes use for our Archer, but because Bronya wasn't quantum weak, I decided not to, although maybe that actually would have given us a faster clear, so maybe I messed up by not using that. And then I will be honest, our planar ornaments here are not great. Well, the sphere isn't great, the rope's fine, but the sphere is definitely far from being good, but oh well. And then Eidolon's E0, as I mentioned, for our Sparkle. 150 speed, we don't hit 160, we don't hit any of the DDD thresholds or anything like that. 168 crit damage. Is there any speed thresholds for Spark? Oh yeah, we're also using Bronya Lightcon because Tribbie was using our dance as well. I only have one S5 copy of DDD, so yeah. Traces basically maxed out, relics on a 4-piece Sacrados here, just for the extra crit damage buff, which and then we have Lushaka here, we have speed and crit damage as well as crit damage here on the rope. So could I maybe hit 160 speed? Yes, although I haven't gotten to that point quite yet. E0 as well. When it comes to our Tribbie, 5k HP, base speed, 42% crit rate, 178 crit damage, which both will go up thanks to the Poet and Bone sets. Like I said, S5 dance, Traces maxed out. Double crit damage, some crit rate, basically just the leftover pieces from all of our HP scalers, E0 as well. Which one thing I will say is it is definitely interesting how version 3, the meta was HP scalers as well as Remembrance, and now currently the meta is Elation and then maybe follow-up attack. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, nothing confirmed, but anyway, 3.2k attack on our Dongheng PT Yanqing, because that's our highest base HP attack, base attack Lightcon, to give him the thickest shields we can. 142 speed as well, obviously that don't really matter as much. Traces basically maxed out, and then relics, we have this set to make sure that our, to give our Archer a bit of an extra crit damage buff. And I keep forgetting that to put Dongheng back on Lusaka. He is on Penacony. He's supposed to be on Lusaka. I need to remember to put him back on that. I think I stole our pieces for Silverwolf, maybe. Looking like it. I think, what if I just go ahead and steal some of those back? Okay, never mind, I didn't. Okay, I don't know who stole our Dongheng's pieces, but we'll get to the bottom of it and we'll put them on Lusaka. So yeah, the Archer Claire definitely could have been improved. E0 as well. Then for our dot team, starting off with our Kafka, 3k attack, 163 speed on the S5 of the Silver Flightcon, as well as hitting the 82% effect hit rate required. Traces basically maxed out, relic 2p speed so that we can hit that 160. I don't have a wind set I'm happy enough to use on Kafka, so this will have to do for now. Lusaka to give our previously Hysilens, now BLACKSWAN, some extra attack. E0. For our BLACKSWAN, she's on 3.4k attack, base speed 108. We do hit the 120% EHR threshold. We do have her on an S1 Eyes of the Prey. Traces are maxed out. Relics looking like so. Just basically getting as much attack and effect hit rate as we can. Previously we were looking for speed to get 144, but not anymore. We are also on the Pan-Cosmic set, although maybe I might need to look into switching her over to the Revelry set as well. We'll just have to see how we're doing on the EHR front. If I do, then we're probably gonna have to swap Lightcons with our Hysilens, because currently it's our Hysilens who is first of all 3.3k attack, also hitting the 120% EHR reference, but she has an S4 Eyes of Prey, so maybe I need to upgrade the S1 one that our BLACKSWAN has. Hopefully when we pull for Sparksy and possibly Yaoguang, we'll get a few more copies of that, so that we can improve our BLACKSWAN build a bit, because right now we have to use Pan-Cosmic in order to hit the 120% EHR threshold, but our Hysilens does have the Revelry set herself, and then Eidolons are E0. And then, finally, our Hyacine 5k HP, 200 speed. Her build doesn't really matter on this team because there's no Remembrance, so she won't be doing as much damage. And her healing isn't as important because, like I said, this team is actually very, very comfy when you factor in Hysilens' enemy debuffs as well as Hyacine's team buffs. So, yeah, there you go. That's it for our character builds. Let me know what you think of the NOVAFLARE characters. Personally, I'm really enjoying it. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.